Right, one more partially explored piece of this area before we move on. Time to speed boost our way out of this corner. Really wish I could remember if it was just a speed boost puzzle that stopped us from making progress in that hallway I'm heading towards, or something else. Oh yeah, it was this room. And it's got a pain-in-the-ass barrier for us to get through, one that feels far too much trouble to be worth it. Moving on, and considering the sheer amount of ground between us and the next bit of unexplored ground, I think I'll be fast-forwarding for a bit. Okay, speed boost while fast-forwarding goes by way too fast for me to register what the hell happened. Understandable, but still. Might not be where we need to go, but at least it's an area we haven't explored just yet. Really? Was kinda hoping that went further down. Guess that's what happens when I somehow forget how we got into that area in the first place. Bubbles really don't look right when there's no water nearby. And why is it that part of me wishes this was actually the point of no return instead of just another area to clear like all the others so far? Am I just getting tired of AM2R and want to move on? Or am I just hyped over the idea of taking down the Queen Metroid and am hungry to take the supposedly most powerful Metroid on the planet down already? And we've run into more enemies, as if I needed more evidence this wasn't going to be the final area with Metroids on the planet. Definitely like the fact that pretty much every enemy we've come across after we got the ice beam can be frozen. Just noticed there's a potential upgrade in the hallway we just left. Right, somewhere around here. And no idea what bit of ground that upgrade is laying around. Kind of predictable considering how late into the game we are now. Still, kind of discouraging, really. Sure, we've got quite a few energy tanks and quite a lot of ammo. We're certainly in better shape than we were at around the same point in Zero mission. Still, considering the only foes that make me change up my tactics are outright bosses and the T-Rex Metroid so far, I'm a little worried I'm gonna get complacent by the time we get to the next major threat. And the more powerful our suit is by the time we get to that threat, the more of a chance we'll be able to have to adjust to the problem without getting steamrolled a few times as a wake-up call. Huh. Wasn't entirely sure we could fit in that tiny hole. Someone could easily take that out of context, just like they take it out of context that we're being given a lot of heads right now. Definitely very hard to keep feeling tension after a while when things keep trying to amp upwards, while we keep getting better one way or the other, and we're just getting a little tired of this particular game. We are honestly at the point where we could take a lava bath and it wouldn't hurt at all. Wait, only one Metroid in this area? Even if we got a T-Rex nearby, that somehow doesn't feel right. Especially this far into the game. Definitely not a lot of enemies to deal with in this sector. Really? Just one type of Metroid which we've been killing since the absolute start of the game? Yeah, that was absurdly one-sided in our favor. Considering how the ground is shaking, I kinda sympathize with the Metroid Queen for getting downright furious this far into the game. None of the Metroids in our path have been able to stop us, and we're just clearing the planet out with little to stop us this far in. Sure, it didn't take long for us to discover another one soon, but they're really running out of Metroids down here. Okay, why can't we go further down? I think this is the only time in the whole game that an earthquake actually shifted the ground around in this game. Usually when that happens, it's various liquids that are drained from area to area, but I suppose that wouldn't be a barrier anymore, since our current suit can't be damaged by either acid or lava anymore. Right. My mistake. I should have gone up instead of down after killing the previous Metroid. Holy shit, there are actually Federation troops still alive down here! And they survived long enough to convince a T-Rex Metroid to take its final form. Sure, these guys are still dead, but there's... Still, it's downright amazing that they made it this far down, and made it long enough for us to watch them get killed. I mean, sure, there's nothing we can do for them, but wow. Okay, similar shape as the previous major enemy type we ran across, though just big enough that we can't just aim straight to hit the vulnerable gut. Very similar attack pattern as well, and I certainly appreciate the fact that when it jumps, the sheer weight of it actually takes us off our feet. That's a nice touch. To be perfectly honest, I'd forgotten this form even existed at all. I thought that after the T-Rex form, the only one left was the Queen. Possibly because the T-Rex and the Omega form look pretty similar, just with different proportions. Once again, the game makes me pay for getting too bloody cocky. And the cost is me getting my ass handed to me by the next big threat that comes our way. How many more times is that pattern gonna repeat itself in this series? Well, at least I'm doing some damage before we get killed. That's better than nothing. Doesn't change the fact that this fight is very clearly not going to go our way here. Not after the sheer amount of damage we took just to figure out how to hurt this thing. And while I'm at it, I'm more than a little pissed that the Ice Beam doesn't seem to do anything to the Metroids we fight against out here. In absolutely every other game in the series, the Ice Beam is a godsend against Metroids. But here, the beam just doesn't harm any bosses other than the Water Snake boss we fought earlier. Again, while we've certainly gotten this far by using missiles against quite a few enemies, the fact of the matter is that missiles have been the only thing we've got that can take hardier enemies down. Which makes it especially annoying that we have so many weapons to take down weaker enemies, but when it comes to the tougher bastards, all that really matters are the missiles. Everything else is kind of a useless toy, really. Sure, the speed boost and screw attack probably wouldn't be great ideas to make critical for most of these boss fights, but still, power bombs, power beams, regular bombs, and all the various upgrades along those lines just don't seem to do anything for us. Well, we're certainly lasting longer against this bastard than I thought I would, considering how poorly the start of the fight went. Holy shit, I might actually be able to bring the big guy down despite the iffy start. Is it just me, or does the Omega feel more predictable than the T-Rexes we got used to dealing with? Definitely feels a lot closer than I was expecting, but it's hard for me to tell just how close it is since we don't see a health bar for the big guy. And I die due to moving like an idiot when we've already taken quite a pounding. More than a little frustrating there. Excuse me for fast-forwarding a bit, since the thing we just got killed by was a second boss in that area. Assuming, of course, you can call the first Metroid a boss when we've been casually killing that form since the start of the game. Yeah. Really not much to say on the way to the first of the two Metroids here, other than, dear God, I kinda wish we had gotten through that in one smooth run. Part of me wonders if I should have just fast-forwarded through a lot of the fights against the weaker Metroids in this game. The other just goes, that would have taken away too much time. Really? So we need to check the path that we already know we aren't going to be able to go through before we're allowed to go upwards. And to make matters more annoying, I had trouble now when I transitioned from one area to the next due to how the game loaded. I know, me fast-forwarding makes that less of an issue, but still. And we're back to the fight that killed us. Figured I'd slow down even for the transformation sequence, if only to give the few Federation troops here a bit more respect for somehow managing to get this far down before us, and lasting just long enough to die on screen. That is quite the accomplishment considering everything we've faced down here. Definitely not the best way to start the rematch. At the very least, a super missile hit should have tipped things in our favor. Always a little embarrassing when you think you've dodged an attack and still manage to bump into the bastard. Especially when even a light touch does just as much damage as something that looks like it has a lot of velocity behind it. Shit. Just realized just how the big guy was gonna leap literally the instant I flew into the spot to get hit by it. Oh, bloody hell, that was certainly a pain in the ass to deal with. Please tell me we're gonna run into another save point before we run into another Omega. Well, if the search and rescue team made it further down than the people they were trying to rescue, that's... kind of mixed results on their mission, really. Guess they got lost in the tunnels or something. Understandable. I've been feeling lost for quite a long time in this game, even though I keep opening the damn map to make sure we're at least trying to make some progress. Place your bets. How long after we get to the unexplored part of the left will we find a save point? Because I'm not all that willing to take that gamble at the moment. Again, kind of amazed it took so long for the earthquakes in this game to actually change the terrain. Especially since we've spent most, if not all, of the game underground in tunnels. Anyway, seems I decided to play it safe and get our health back the old-fashioned way before venturing forth to find the next save point. Or I just decided to retreat to the nearest save point we already know about, and that's very unlikely to have any bosses pop up between us and there. Well, at least that upgrade seems to be easy enough to find. Again, not an especially great upgrade, but this deep in, I'll take what I can get. Especially when I'm at the point of feeling we've kind of passed the point of intensity where a lot of other games would have finished things off. Either that's because games these days don't measure up to the difficulty of games in the old days, or Metroid is one of the harder series Nintendo tends to pop up. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. A speed boost barrier that requires us to somehow be in morph ball mode to make breakthrough? Are you kidding me? Seriously? Think I'll be calling it a day here. I'm guessing based on the amount of raw footage left that we've got, maybe 2 more clips before we hit the credits, though I could be wrong and it could be 3 or even 4.